Right now in the Keaton Studios, our palatial studios here, Kevin Richards with Tech News. Kevin Richards, of course, with Ventura Web Design. By way of disclosure, they, of course, design allenstock.com, which is a fantastic, fancy page, and I appreciate that. Good to have you here this morning.
Hey, absolutely. Good to be here.
All right, let's just get right into it because there's a lot to talk about, and we'll talk about it when talk about hacking because Sony's going through a lot of issues. And we'll try to talk a little bit about that in a bit. But the important thing is people are saying, well, wait a minute. If they can do it to Sony, they can do it to any one of us. How in the hell do you protect yourself?
It's a valid fear. You got to pay attention when you're online, and you got to protect yourself. There's a lot of people out there who want to steal your information, and if you make it easy for them, then they're going to do it. So when you're shopping online, you should definitely be paying attention for a couple of things. The very first one you want to look for is in the address bar. You know, at the very top of your browser where it shows the website address where you're at?
Yes.
You need to pay attention to that. Make sure it says the website address that you expect it to say. Make sure that it doesn't switch over to something that you weren't expecting. That's the first key. So if you're thinking you're shopping at Amazon.com, make sure it still says Amazon.com.
Instead of, the ABC company or something like that.
Exactly.
So that means somebody else is hacked in.
Right. You want to make sure that you're doing business with the company that you think you're doing business with. The second thing you want to look for is the lock symbol up in that address bar also. You've seen that before, right?
Yep, I sure have.
So it looks just like a little lock, a little padlock. It's in the upper left of your browser, and that indicates to you that you're shopping on a secure website. And that's important because the information you're sending is being encrypted. You'll also see in the URL, it'll switch from HTTP to HTTPS. The S on there indicates that it's secure.
Okay.
So that's another thing you want to look for. Now, another opportunity for the hackers to really get into your computer is when they send you those emails. You've heard of those phishing scams, right?
I delete those. What I do is I delete it and then I clear my trash immediately. I don't even want it in my system anywhere at all. Is that right?
It is. It's good. And one of the things, though, is they're getting better at it. In the past, they would write it, and you could tell it was not written, the way that the bank would write it, or written the way that Amazon would write it. But they are getting better at it. So one of the tricks that I like to encourage people to use is if you think it is a real email, if it's legitimate, even if you're certain that it's a real email, put your mouse over the link. It'll show you what the link is, and then you've got to pay attention to where it's trying to send you. If you're going to a particular website and that's who the email is from, the domain name should also match.
I don't even want to click on there. It shows up, I highlight on the left-hand side of my page for mail, whatever I'm looking at, and it shows it in the window on the right-hand side. But I don't click anything from there at all because it tells me right away that's my bank and their bank. We're just trying to fix your account. Just give us your social security number, your date of birth, your account number and everything like that, and we'll verify that everything's right. I'm going, yeah. And so what I've done is I've actually forwarded some of these to my bank.
Yes, they're willing to accept it. They give you a special link on the inside of your bank account usually, and they're willing to accept all that. But yeah, that's a good point. You don't need to be providing that information. If you do want to do business with your bank, for example, and they send you an email, sometimes they do, you don't have to interact through that email. You can go log in through your normal bank account, and you'll be able to find the information in a secure message center as well.
Okay. So, so these are the things we have to watch for.
Yeah, and I really encourage people to shop with companies that you trust. And that doesn't necessarily mean you only shop with names that you already know. It means, does the website look trustworthy? Does it look like it's been put together by a company that cares? Is the phone number easily available? Is it in the header at the top of every site? Do you know who to contact if there's a problem? And try giving that number a call. See what happens before you place before you place the order online. That'll tell you what kind of company you're doing business with. Another thing you can look for is what we call trust icons. Google has a program called Trusted Stores, and I don't know if you've ever seen the little badge that comes up when you're shopping on some websites.
No.
And what's happening there is Google is certifying that this is the real store that you think you're doing business with. And oh, by the way, here's hundreds, if not thousands, of reviews of other customers who've done business at this store. The other thing you can look for is like a McAfee badge. You've heard of the McAfee antivirus software. Same thing with Norton. Now, you can't just trust those just because you see an image. You have to actually click on it to go to the site to verify that it's real. Even with the Google Trusted Stores, you've got to go all the way over to Google. It'll come in as a pop-up. It's not a big deal. But it's worth taking the time to make sure that you're actually doing business with who you think you're doing business with.
All right. We'll come back. I've got the call coming in for you, and we'll take the call in a moment. So callers, stay with us, and then we will continue with Kevin Richards, Tech News, talking about shopping online and some of the safeties that we need to adhere to and some of the concerns that people have and hacking in general and how they fish and look for your stuff. Joining us on the KDON Live line, my daughter Serena actually joining in this morning. Hey, Serena, how you doing?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. What's going on?
Good. So I love shopping, and I really love shopping online.
No, you're kidding me.
No, I know. It's not shocking. One thing that I have found that might be some good advice for other people who might have gone through this situation is I actually had my credit card stolen online. I was online, and an email popped up, said, thank you for your purchase on eBay. Well, I don't purchase anything on eBay. And my credit card was stolen. I called eBay, and it was through PayPal. So I called them. They refused to help me. But the credit card company did. So what I do is I actually keep one card aside that I specifically use online. I don't use any other cards online, nor do I use that card for anything in person. So, I just keep one for online purchases only.
Yeah, that's a really good technique, Serena. And, it's funny. PayPal is seen as one of the most secure ways to pay online. And even the Apple stores are now accepting PayPal. But you're right. It can get stolen, no matter what you do online. And that technique of using one credit card for just your online shopping is great.
And don't ever use a debit card.
Yes.
No,
yeah.
Don't use debit.
And the reason for that is because they can actually take money directly out of your bank account.
Yes.
Rather than a credit card where it's the credit card company who's kind of taking that risk up front. And like we've talked about before, the credit card companies will catch it more often than not before you even see it on your statement.
Absolutely. Wanted to give that tip. Have a good day, gentlemen.
Hey, and thank you for all the pictures you posted on Facebook about the Hanukkah party last night.
Oh, you're welcome.
Very,
Good
very
job.
cool. All right, talk to you later.
All right. Bye.
All right, thank you, Serena, calling us. All right, real quickly, it's the end of the year. Google has got things going. Their search trends. Tell me about their search trends.
Yeah, you can log into google.com/2014. They've got a pretty cool little video there. It's about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. And you can kind of see what we searched for over the last year, and it's neat. They've taken a lot of time. It's fun to watch. You can also see the actual search trends. You can see that the top overall search for 2014 was Robin Williams.
Okay.
Pretty interesting, right?
And what was the second? Do you know offhand?
The second, do you have a guess? It's a sporting event.
Soccer.
There it is, the World Cup.
Wow.
And then the third was a disease that we were all worried about.
Ebola.
That's right. So you got the top three. The top people were Jennifer Lawrence. Any guess on why she was up there?
I can't imagine why. Why would people be searching Jennifer Lawrence?
I don't know. I can't figure it out.
I think it's probably Jennifer Lawrence in the nude is what they've been searching.
Well, and Google might have cleaned that up for you.
Yeah, they might have.
The other is Kim Kardashian, just equally as shocking. Why we're looking for that?
Yeah, because of her tush. I get it. All right.
You can log in. You can see other top searches. You can see the top people. You can see the top athletes, top consumer electronics. Take a guess what the number one consumer electronic was?
Oh, the phone.
That's right, the iPhone 6.
Wow. Amazing.
So it's cool stuff. It's neat that Google every now and then will take down the wall and let you see a little bit of their data.
So let me ask you a question. I want to go back to something we're talking about regarding the hacking because I'm interested in this, and I don't want to get off in a whole overly political discussion, but we know now we've been hacked by North Korea. They're making an announcement today that it's come from North Korea. What can we do? I mean, I'm not asking for you to talk about dropping the bomb. I would say that you don't have to. But I mean, what can we do to prevent that from happening in the future from North Korea? Because if they don't like this, they don't like another thing that we do, and they're going to be ticked off, and they'll be threatened again. I mean,
oh, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah. So it's really. I'm glad you brought it up. It's really the obligation of the people who are in charge of the websites, people who are in charge of the servers. And, my company, it's certainly a much smaller scale than Sony, but it's our responsibility. A lot of our clients ask, well, why do you charge us for hosting? Why do you charge us after you build the website? Why do we have to keep paying to keep it online? And this is the reason. I mean, we just had over 100,000 websites, not ours, of course, but websites that weren't being maintained and monitored. They were all banned from Google because they were vulnerable to a particular type of attack. And so they were using a program called WordPress, which a lot of websites use. It's your basic platform. AlanStock.com is built on WordPress. And, if you don't have somebody maintaining your site regularly, you're going to end up with your site either being hacked and people posting things on your website that you don't want there, or they're going to put a program in your website that every single visitor to your website is going to end up with on their computer. So it's really the responsibility of the webmasters.
So you maintain my website. You make sure that, even though I've used WordPress to be able to post things online, that it's not going to be hacked. The little fat kid with the bad haircut in North Korea is not going to get into my website.
That's right. He's going to have a harder time than most. We'll say that. You can never say it's guaranteed. It's just not. There's always a way to figure it out if you take the time. But if the key thing, remember we talked about is,
you said it's up to the servers, though. So what does an individual do? What do I do? What
I was just going to get to that. The same thing that servers have to do is the same thing the individuals have to do, and that is keep your software up to date. Because if you keep updating your software, you're constantly closing those doors and loopholes that have been identified. And if you keep the software the same for years and years and years, which people, for example, on Windows XP are doing, I mean, that software isn't being updated anymore. That is a huge vulnerability. But if you keep your stuff up to date, it's much harder for them to try to log in through backdoors.
Okay, so when you get the little thing that says, do you want to update now, or later, just go ahead and do it and take care of it.
I know you're kind of anti-updating, but you also got to back things up. That's the way to protect yourself from that.
Mine automatically backs up now. I have that tower.
Okay.
Right. Everything is backed up immediately.
Right.
I don't know what it's called, but right now,
it's the airport.
Yeah, it's the airport, exactly,
Right.
and it backs everything up immediately. I learned that after my last go-around
Exactly.
problem.
Yeah, you want to stay up to date with the software. That's the best way to do it. Same thing with your phone. I know if it's not broke, don't fix it, kind of thing.
Yes.
But the updates are the way to make sure that you're staying ahead of the hackers.
All right. Quickly, I understand Polaroid is making a comeback, but then I understand they're making a comeback with records now, LPs. So I mean, everything is old is now new again.
That's kind of true. So Polaroid is
get my old bell bottoms out. Go ahead. Yeah.
Polaroid has announced a new product. They're calling it the Social-Matic. It is it's actually about 4.5 inches big. It's a camera, and it's exactly what you'd expect from Polaroid. It prints pictures
Instantly.
It does. It's all new technology. It's using a special. It's not. They don't call it ink, but I mean everything kind of is ink. But it's using special technology to print those out right away. It's smudge free. It's water resistant, tear resistant. And another neat thing is the back of the photo is actually sticky, so you can put it right up on your wall.
Okay, let me ask you: when it comes out and you've got the picture, is that picture saved in the camera though?
Yes, it's actually, that's why they call it the Social-Matic. It will also upload to your social networks for you automatically if you'd like it to do that. It'll connect through your phone. It'll have a Bluetooth connection, and then it'll do what it's got to do right there to keep you up to date.
So you got the instant pictures plus you save it like you would any other picture.
Exactly. It's got
what does it run to get these pictures? I mean,
well, clearly, that's where they want to make the money, right? It's going to be on that paper, but the product isn't actually for sale yet. It's in pre-sale mode. They're saying that it's going to be $299. We'll see when they actually release it. It's not going to be out for the holidays, but it's just neat. It was a neat story that I found that, it's an old company that's found a way to make themselves new again. BlackBerry's doing the same thing also.
That's what I understand, but I'll be curious to see what they charge per picture.
Absolutely.
That will be that's. I mean, $299 for the camera. That's one thing. But what's per picture? Like like $25 a picture. I mean, we'll find out. I have no idea.
Well, it's not going to be $25 a picture, but I hear you. But
I just like to exaggerate.
Well, I mean, it's going to be an interesting thing to see if it's adopted because it's we're all used to just taking 100 pictures.
Tech News with Kevin Richards, and of course you can find out more about Ventura Web Design and get in touch with Kevin Richards. Go to alanstock.com. On the right-hand side of the page, you'll see the Ventura Web Design logo. Click onto that. You're there. You're home, and you've got him, and he'll be glad to help you out. They did a great job with my site. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you coming in this morning. And to you and yours, a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
You as well, and don't forget to like Alan Stock on Facebook.
Thank you very much. That is absolutely true. And my fan page as well.